Hey, Robert.
Yes, sir.
Just remember tomorrow we move that up by 2 minutes.
Okay. Sounds good.
I'm opening the.
To the hearing.
I'm stealing
Okay.
Casey's chair. I don't want to mess with this one.
I'm gonna open the meeting. We're gonna start with our public hearing for non-resident student policy.
Okay, as new law that's gone into place this year, all districts across the state of Kansas have to have a policy approved by and in place on January 1 of 2024. As a piece of that, it's necessary or it's required to have a public hearing to allow people the opportunity, if they'd like to, ask questions or just, give their 2 cents. There are 2 pieces of this, and what we're here tonight to talk about is the policy itself. Later in the year, the actual capacities per grade level will be set by the board. And I'll talk a little bit about that as we go through this, but that's not the work of tonight. The work of tonight is the policy itself. And if we follow the normal procedure of policies, we will have the hearing tonight. The hearing piece is brand new for this, but in the meeting itself, we'll have the first read of the policy. And I'll answer any questions you have. It'll be very similar to what we're talking about right now. And then in December will be the second read with approval. And at that time, then what I'll be asking the board to do is to approve the policy to be implemented, take effect on January 1. That will set us up to have fulfilled the obligations of the law. So what I've provided to anyone in the audience, and if people want it, if you're listening out there, I'd be glad to get a copy of this to you. This is not the policy in mass, not the entire thing, but these are the salient points pulled out of it. You're more than welcome to read the whole thing. Like I said, it'll be posted, particularly when we get the minutes posted for this month's meeting. But here are the points that really are have caused the most questions from people. So I'm just going to read straight down my bulleted list. And board, if you have questions, ask me as we go, and or people in the audience, if you'd like to. Policy has to be approved by January 1 of 2024. Then, by May 1, the capacities per grade have to be set. And how those capacities are set, they take into account a few factors. When it's K through 8, it's the projected enrollment per grade level, the classroom capacity per grade level, meaning the physical space that's allowable, the current student to teacher ratio by grade level, and then at the high school level, it's all those 4 factors, plus the special programs at the high school level. Think band, choir, welding, any singleton type courses. So taking all that into consideration, by May 1, the board will have taken action to set the capacities. If everything goes as I've kind of got it lined out, that will all be taking place at the April board meeting because we continue to work it. Because twice now tonight will be the second time formally this has come before the board. We've engaged with site councils, building leadership teams, staff themselves, just basically checking lots of groups to see what people think about that. But once again, that's work later on. So then before June 1, the number of available slots per grade level have to be published on our website. June 1 through June 30 is when the enrollment window is open. That's when non-resident students, families who want to attend USC 363, or all districts in the state of Kansas, that's the window of opportunity for them to enroll. Then by July 15, that's the deadline that districts have to let families know if they are in or not, the non-resident students. Remember, if you wake up in Holcomb, America, you are automatically in the school district. The law says you are a patron, even if you're renting or couch surfing, doesn't matter, there's a variety of ways. If you wake up in Holcomb, Kansas, you get enrollment. So we have to let people know by July 15. So here's where the water dance occurs. If the applications for student enrollment exceed the capacity set for a given grade, we will have to develop a lottery process has to be utilized to fill that capacity. They're not giving any guidance on this yet. It could be cutting cards, pulling straws, rolling dice, random number generator from the computer. That's probably what we'll end up doing. But it has to be a random process. And so that is ostensibly is what we use to fill up to the capacity if enough applications have come forth. So then we have to let the families know on or before July 15th why their student or students aren't being allowed into the district if that is the case. There's really only a few ways a person can be denied anymore. Attendance is one of them. Where we're moving forward on that, and it was baked into the policy, is more than 14 absences in a school year. Discipline, 1 or more out-of-school suspensions, or 2 or more in-school suspensions. It is important to notice, though, the word may precedes those. It's not shall, it's may. So we could have a situation, and for whatever reason, the word may is sitting there, so we choose not to put that into play, the absences. Don't see us doing that, but that gives us the leisure of doing that. If the student is currently serving a long-term suspension, that runs right in line with the current law. If the family, were to provide false information, I don't know what that would look like, but false information. And then perhaps if the lottery process doesn't go their way. So let's say we've got 2 people in the audience and we've got 1 spot available, and we literally draw a card, and Mike's kid gets in and Garrett's does not. The reason, and we just have to let Garrett know, the lottery process didn't go your way. So come back next year if you'd like to. Priorities given in these situations, non-students from this year are given priority. We already have 20% of our student population coming to us from outside of the district. Okay, so keep in mind that's why, this is really an issue for Johnson County, Sedgwick County, and Shawnee County, and us. Anybody kind of a bedroom community to an urban center, a Western Kansas version of an urban center. Ellis, I think, would fall prey to this, up there by Hayes. Maybe, no, that's probably the only ones I can think of. Maybe Kismet Plains, outside of Liberal, but I don't know how much they get people bouncing back and forth. So given the non-resident students this year get priority, then the siblings of another non-resident student, so we've got a non-resident student in 3rd grade this year, and a kindergartner is in the same family, well, they get precedence. Come on in, or priority. Military families, it's not a real issue to us around here, but it could occur, I guess. A foster child living with another non-resident student, so we have a non-resident student residing in Garden City, and through DCF, a foster child kid is placed there, they get priority. They come in. If the person is an employee of the district, so if we have an employee, doesn't matter what their position is, and they happen to live outside the district, they're given priority. This is a funky part about the policy, as long as they remain employed by the district. So, and then finally, homeless students. So homeless students get priority. A couple other pieces. Students may only transfer as non-resident students once a year. So let's say a person wakes up in the morning at Dighton, and they choose to come here and they get in for the next school year. The policy or the law does not allow them to then say, you know what, I want to go to Garden now in October. Yeah, I don't like that. I'm going to go to Meade in January. Now, they can always go home if they sleep in Dighton. But as far as non-resident students, 1 jump per year. We're not required to provide transportation unless it's written into an IEP. A lawsuit is waiting for this. So once again, let's say a student is waking up in Dighton, Kansas, and he or she decides, or the family decides they want to come here. And that student gets in under the capacity level, and that student is on an IEP, and in that IEP it says transportation will be provided. In that scenario, we have to go get them, or we have to figure it out. That's a lawsuit waiting to happen, so I don't think that was well baked. They didn't think that out before they threw it in the oven. So we'll see how that plays. I don't know that we'll have anybody waking up in Salina who want to come to school here, but if they do, and they have an IEP.
Once again, not a big problem if you're in Johnson County.
Yeah, I'm going to get my pilot's license. That's what's going to happen here. All CASA regulations and rules stay in effect, so this really can't be used just to hop around to be able to play football here or play basketball there. It has to be a bona fide move for that to occur. And final one on this laundry list of items I've given you. Once accepted into the district, there's no need to reapply in coming years unless the student is not in good standing. And on this regard, once this policy goes into play, student in good standing, that definition means attendance and discipline. It doesn't mean grades. It doesn't mean didn't quite fit. That's what the law of the land becomes, starting January 1 moving forward. So there's more words. If a person wants to read all the policy stuff, and that's coming down the pike, But these are the pieces that really are going to have to be figured out and put into play. So there you go, Mr. Jones. Any questions?
Nope.
All right.
Okay, no questions. I will close the public hearing and we'll open our regularly scheduled meeting. So the first thing I need is to approve the agenda.
So moved. Second.
Ryan, Ruda, and Curtis. Moved and seconded to approve the agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, I need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved. Second.
Curtis and Shrivogel. Then moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? All right, recognitions.
If you've read, if anyone in this room has read, or anybody out there has read Orwell's Animal Farm, there's a quote in there that says all pigs are equal, but some pigs are more equal than others. I would be remiss if I did not take the opportunity to recognize one of the resignations we're receiving tonight is from Mr. Ackerman to be put into play come summertime. Randy's been here over 40 years and is absolutely pivotal to our successes as far as I'm concerned as our tech director. We care about any and all resignations we receive, but I think that's a special one. So I think that is a recognition that needs to be noticed. Beyond that, though, we finished a very successful fall activities season. Football team went to the playoffs. Volleyball, successful winning season into the multiple rounds of the sub-state. Cross country had a stellar season with state finishings, both the girls and boys side. FFAs just got back from nationals, and we had the high school play last week and gearing up toward the middle school play next week. So, and then we've had a thing called school. So it's been a quality first semester of activities and, up through November school year. That's what I've got.
All right, thank you. All right, we will move to Mike and financials.
Okay, I'll start on page 4. High Plains Co-op, payment to them for $141,867. And then on page 7, Rustiac Ford, the new van we purchased from them, $55,625. And then a little bit further down, Sharps Brothers Seed Company, we bought $17,000 worth of grass seed. So the purchases this month are total on page 10, $533,021.76. And then on page 12, our revenue expense balances, you'll notice our federal funds are all negative, and that's because the state is a little late in getting the federal funds to us this month. And then on page 14 is our fund expense summary, is where we expect to be. And then back behind that's the high school, middle school reports. So if you have any questions.
If there are no questions, I'll entertain a motion to approve the financials at $533,021.76.
So moved. Second.
Ruda and Shrivogel. It's been moved and seconded to approve the financials. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Guess there's no public patron concerns, so we will move to administrative reports.
Yeah,
Dr.
we've
Myers.
got a couple, 3 things to talk to you about. We are in the process of examining and possibly looking at bringing on a different teacher and principal evaluation system. The purpose of the evaluation system is to help people grow. That's what it's about. And what we've been using since I've gotten here is the Keep 2 process. When I was at the State Department, it was under my leadership that we put that together. But since I'm now in the field and we're working with it, it's a little arduous. It's like playing ping pong back and forth. And so sometimes the good works can be a barrier to what we're trying to get to. And the purpose of an evaluation system is to help our people grow. Randy and Amy, I think are the two, wore me down over time. Said, we really need to look at this. We need to really look at this. So over time, because I'm a smart man, I listened to the two ladies. During the leadership retreat, we took a meeting with the Network for Effective Leadership Educators, NE. And if you're a fan of Monty Python and the Holy Grail, it's the Knights who say NE. That's how you remember this. It's a dynamic, robust system that they have. It's much more user-friendly. It's able to be personalized at the building, building, district levels, and it's got exemplar videos, which I think is really, really cool. So you can say, I'm really needing to work with my upper-level questioning skills. Well, they've got a video for us to watch. Say, well, here's a teacher who's acknowledged for doing this super well. The only downside whatsoever is they're out of Missouri. They're associated with the University of Missouri. We'll just hold our tongue just right and get past that. But at least it's a research institution.
Watch back.
I was taken by it. I'm impressed. They're K-12 educators who are, taking care of this. They've been around a long time now. Well, not a long time, but 10 years. The next step is on December 6th, the School Improvement Council, it's made up of teachers. The group is going to Zoom in and talk with them about it. And so, basically see what they think. Let's get some teacher input on it. To me, it seems almost like a no-brainer to go this way. So just letting you know, this is in the works. So that's exciting work. This next one, it's not come to fruition yet, but took a meeting a week and a half ago with Garden City Community College, looking to grow our welding opportunities. Potential of working in concert with the GCCC to outfit and provide additional opportunities for welding classes. We looked at a couple different spots up at the high school, and what was the old shop area is tailor-made for this. So I'm waiting to hear back information from Garden City, just infrastructure costs and see what kind of thing we can figure out and how many more bays we actually could bring in. If this were to come to fruition, we'd be able to not only open up opportunities during the school day for more, because right now we're limited to 12, because we only have 12 bays. Potentially work something out with a shared instructor, which would be great. I'm wide open to allowing kids from Deerfield or Lakin to come over if they want to, or Garden City if they want to. You get used to shopping here, you may stay here. And then another really exciting aspect to it, this particular spot we're looking at, is it's a lock-off spot. There's an entrance from the parking lot. We can lock off the rest of the building so we could have nighttime opportunities and build it so individuals could lead toward their AWS certification. And was able to get something like this going in a previous district, and it was a great opportunity. I thank you to Garden City for approaching us. I think it's a celebration. So as we move down the pike of trying to get this going, I'll bring it back to you. But this is one more opportunity to provide CTE training opportunities for our kids.
Talking about that area where they used to have the wrestling practice, is that what you're
Yeah,
talking about?
yeah. And we have to look at moving a few people around here and there, but since the infrastructure is there for the exhaust and all that kind of stuff.
Be a wood working.
Right, and you can see behind the drywall where the two bay doors were. And so it's really a nice spot. We're not building a new building to do this. So we're not there yet. I mean, but if something were to occur with this, I don't know, maybe August, be able to launch, yeah.
Got plenty of room east of the shop. We could get rid of some more grass and put some more building over there too, if we needed to.
It's just money, that's all it is, Curtis. But yeah, we could continue to grow the CTE program. I would love to have a building, I know Jerry always yells at me, it's not called building trades, but that's all I remember, that's all I know. A building trades program where we learn how to frame and plumb and all the electrical, all aspects of that. If you recall, good ideas don't always hit. That CTE building where I was trying to pull together with the restroom concession stand, didn't get the grant. That's what that was headed toward. So I would love to move that way, give more opportunities. And goodness knows we have work opportunities in Finney County for construction. So, final thing to talk to you about, the parking area. We've been messing around over there to south of the of Wiley Elementary. What's his name? His name will be Garrett tonight. I was working those great guns, getting me information. Let's go. Then we found out we have to rezone it. And so we are in the process of doing that. But just so you know, okay, rezone it, move on. Well, the zoning board has to approve it. We think that shouldn't be an issue. But then the city council of Holcomb has to say yes to it. I don't think that'll be an issue, but I don't get to vote. Then we also have to have stamped plans to build a parking lot. But okay, all right. We're working, we're moving down that path. Preliminary bids right now are still somewhere around $80,000 for concrete. But okay, the reason I'm in favor of this is hopefully by parking more people over there, one of two things, either it's a parking spot or it's a dump-off spot for kids. It should help clear up the traffic a little bit more. You know, if you guys have been around in the mornings or in the afternoons over elementary land, you know, it's a funnel, you know, bottleneck. So anyway, that's being worked. I thought we were on our way. We're going to, you know, do a bid and be done. No, the long arm of the law and the government came to play. So,
How many,
Garrett asked somebody too many
20-ish.
questions, sounds to me like.
see what?
I think Garrett probably asked too many questions.
he's too thorough.
Just hired
I don't ever want to say, let's do something that,
Just a slap on the hand.
it's, once we know something, we have to follow through with it. So, now we know it. So that's my report, Mr. Jones.
Okay, thank you, sir. All right, now we will move to buildings and grounds.
Nothing further.
Okay. Sam is sick, Monica is gone. Mr. Ackerman?
Nothing further.
All right, well, we'll move to the principals and start off with Wiley Elementary and Amy Albright.
I just wanted to touch base on some professional development that the state is offering for our teachers, and a few of our teachers have taken the opportunity. The first one is the letters training, and they are offering this for free. It's a pretty in-depth training that dives into like the structured literacy approach and just the evidence-based practices around literacy. I currently have 3, I believe, at my building doing it right now, and a few more are going to be signing up for the next round, which is already full in most of the grade levels for next August. So looking forward to building our knowledge in that area and having them learn more about the skills that they're teaching and why they teach it specific ways and things like that. So going on with that. And then they're also offering some math training very similar to the letters training. It's just not quite as in-depth. It's 4 days with 4 different modules. The first round is going to be in January. So Randy and I have been talking about that and seeing who is interested in going and securing subs and things like that, all the stuff that goes with that. So we do have a few teachers interested in attending that as well. They'll complete the first 2 modules in January, and then the last 2 modules will be in April. And like I said, it's not quite as in-depth and doesn't require as many days to do it. So looking forward to having them bring back the knowledge to our campuses.
And there's the big, on the letters training, it's a big push for the science of reading, is what this is. What we've done thus far, previous to moving into that particular training, CKLA, that's the ELA program we brought on last year, is also built on the science of reading. So we've been checking that box, doing it that way. But this opportunity, it's free through the state, so we'll see, well, what else could we learn? And so it really does. And then what we're doing at the high school, middle school, with the MTSS approach, with the Reading Horizons Elevate, is tied more to the science of reading as well. And because how the brain works and how the I don't even want to try. They could talk about it for a long time. Phonemes and phonemical.
Phonemic awareness.
Thank you. All those fancy terms about how the brain works, and slowly but surely we learn how to read. It's not magic. I thought it was magic, being a high school guy, but they've broken it down to where there's a science to helping kids learn how to read. And once again, you show me a good reader or a good writer, I'll show you a kid who's more positioned to be successful as they come through. Still, if people say it's not true anymore, but it is. Prisons are still built based on reading scores following 3rd grade, because the idea being nationwide, because the idea being you're never going to catch up with reading skills if you're not at grade level by the end of 3rd grade. And so it can't stress it enough how important it is. So good on you and Randy in particular for your leadership. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. All right, Mrs. Tyne.
I just want to give a quick shout out to Debbie Tidwell. We're right in the middle of a couple of concerts right now. Last week we had our 3rd grade concert, and tomorrow we will have our 4th grade concert. I love the way that Mrs. Tidwell builds on the skills. If you go to each of the concerts, you'll see something very different in what they are able to do with, particularly with instruments. This year at the third grade, they added sign language, so a lot of their songs, they did sign language with those. I haven't seen the fourth grade concert yet, but I saw keyboards out, so I know that will be part of the concert tomorrow night. And then if, Mrs. Tidwell changes things up a lot, she doesn't just repeat things every year, but in fifth grade, they do a lot of instruments. So their concert is at the end of the year, and you'll see all sorts of instruments usually for that concert. So just want to give a shout out to her. It's a great evidence of learning, showing what the kids are able to produce musically.
And I'll take the opportunity to follow up on that. We really do, and it's been growing over the last couple of years, truly a fine K-12 fine arts program, and it's improving even more so. It's the visual arts, the verbal arts, spoken, all areas of them. We've got top-notch people providing these opportunities for our kids, and unless you think, well, that's nice, that's fun. Well, Randy's daughter herself is going to go to art school, looking for a career, in I don't know, graphic arts, or I don't know what kind of art, but there are professions out there in this realm. And some of the work that is done at the high school through the graphic art area, kids can open business or go workplaces. It's a burgeoning area, and buy into the brain research, and I happen to. I can never remember if it's left or right. One side's critical, one side's more of the artistic side. The more we can develop the artistic side, the more it behooves the cognitive side. So that's why programs like elementary art and elementary music, they make a difference. They just do. So, thank you, Randy.
You don't know which side of the brain?
I don't. I can't remember. I can never remember.
Because I can't even draw stick figures.
I
so.
can roll the dice and say one, but Tyler will correct me, so I don't know.
No, I don't remember either, so.
All right, speak of the young man, Tyler Helton.
One thing I did not put in my board report, wanted to recognize and appreciate Officer Shelton. In addition to his normal, well, I shouldn't say normal, his wide-ranging daily, day-to-day operations at the middle school. He's been leading our homerooms through additional crisis practices, scenarios, as we get ready for a school-wide one we'll do once those are all done here, hopefully in December. And then he's also brought the DARE program up to the middle school. He started with 7th grade homerooms. They get one lesson a week, and then we'll do 8th grade and 6th grade, looking at how to say no to peer pressure. I believe the acronym is Drug Abuse Resistance Education. I had that in the 90s myself. That's cool to see our kids having that opportunity. So a lot of gratitude to him. He makes a huge difference, makes awesome connections with our kids, and he's an educator as well, so it's awesome.
And he's also able to be the tip of the spear when unfortunately we have some miscreant behavior here and there, and make sure we're following it to the letter of the law. This is it's a celebration as well. Once again, this was Jerry in particular, who had come to me and said, we really need an SRO. I was like, well, okay, I'm sure we do. But I didn't know how to go about doing it. Until I finally, Mike and I were talking, and said, wait a second, ESSER money, we could do that. But then we said, well, we want this to be longer term. And also it can't be our employee, it has to be the city of Holcomb. So shout out to the city of Holcomb. They saw the virtue of this. We're paying for the Officer Sheldon last year and this year. They take it over for the next 2 years. And so then we'll see what happens from there. But that's a nice working together partnership. And he's the right guy to be in the position, so.
Yep, excellent. All right, Jerry Johnson.
You want to do that again, Jerry? That was, you're usually pretty suave.
Headbutt it and see how that works. I'm going to continue along the line of the arts. Excuse me. For those that didn't know, we had our high school play this last weekend, Friday and Saturday night. And I think what's really awesome and kind of sad all at the same time is, as a high school principal, you get to see him come in as a freshman, and then you get to see him leave and go on and do the things, but it's always the last of the first, right? I mean, and we have a group of girls here that worked in our play, and a group of students that have been in the play for several different years. And I just told Mrs. Bowler today, this play was like the epitome of what this group of young ladies are. It was just so well done, and it was long, and it was a lot of lines and a lot of good acting, but it fit their personality so well. And if you know them individually and you know, you can see their personalities come in each one of the roles, and it was just awesome. It was just a really, really good performance from a group of kids that are just exceptional. And so whenever you know, but that's it, right? I mean, so they graduate, and then it's another one that's like you don't get to see them anymore. And so our play was just really well done, and I told Mrs. Bowler that, and all the young ladies and the young men that we had in the play also. It was just really, really well done. So that's what I wanted to highlight tonight.
And the great thing about that is, you know, as we, and Ms. Bullard does a fine job, building it into our DNA. And so once again, opens up the opportunities to kids to say, well, I might want to do that. You know, whether they end up in Broadway, I don't know. That's not really what's important to me. What's important is they learn stage presence and the ability to communicate in front of folks. As I know I've told you guys before, the number one fear for adults in the United States of America, it's not death, it's not divorce, it's not bankruptcy, it's public speaking. That's the number one fear. And so fine arts allows us to hopefully batter that down just a bit. So anyway, there you go.
All right, thank you, Jerry. All right, we will move to unfinished business and Gibson GMCN contract.
All righty, this is a culmination of over a year's work. Multiple times through the year, through the years rather, we've said, okay, here are the capital projects, where do you want to go? Board, what's your priority? And over the last, couple times we've done this, the priority has been the concession stand restroom at the football field. Number 2 is the track, because ultimately it's going to fall apart. But we're still patching together and we're okay. Regardless, this has been number one focus, so that's where I've been putting my bulk of my attention. Worked with multiple groups now, at least four, who are willing to play ball with us on this and help us with our issue. I think we're there now, personally. And so what you have before you, school board, you have a link to the drawing of the proposed concession stand restroom, ticket booth, and you'll see also storage unit and storage areas in like a janitor's room. You also will see this meets the criteria. There are 8 toilets for the women plus a family room. That's by code. You have to have the family room. That's 9. We are able to utilize because we're within 500 feet of the other bathrooms over at the high school. Given our bleachers hold 1,500 people, we, by code, need to have 22 bathrooms available for the women's side. We're there, so we don't even need a waiver. On the men's side, there's 3 toilets, 4 urinals. We're easy. We just don't need as much space as the women do. The concession stand itself, it's got the garage door openings. It's not, you don't have to get down on your knees, Mr. Jones, to order anymore. There's 2 of them. It's half again as big, if you want a visual, of the concession stand inside the high school. So half again, and that's a fine functioning concession stand as far as I'm concerned. Then this all has an awning over the entire thing. So if you look at the picture in the front end of it, closer to the football field, you'll see 4 picnic tables. Those are just, they don't have to go there, but, we could have that available for people. So it gets people out of the elements, so when they're making their orders and whatnot. So that's the drawing of it. The crack board capital improvement subcommittee came together, in Mr. Jones, Mr. Trivogel, and Miss George last week, 2 weeks ago, at some point in time. Took a look at this and said, okay, that'll work. It's not the Taj Mahal, but it's more than workable. What doesn't show on this rendering is it's got I'll call it wainscoting, a brick, not leads, but a brick wall coming up halfway, 3 feet. So, makes it prettier a little bit. If we decide to go down this path formally, ultimately pick questions or decisions around color, tile, that kind of thing would have to take place. But that's later work if the board decides to go down this path. You have I put at your spot, the fiscal information. The contract that you would be taking action on tonight is with GMCN to head up the meeting, the project. Finalize the drawings, do the bids, oversee it, basically in concert with Garrett to get this puppy built. By doing it at this pace, The plan would be, if you make a decision tonight, that would allow us to go out to do that behind-the-scenes work between now and Christmas. Then right after the first of the year, put it out to bid. Having talked to Nick and Desiree about this, they're actually kind of concerned about finding people to bid. But that's, nevertheless, we can't do it if we don't put it out there. So that would be early January. And so the actual, to come back together to accept the bids would be at February or a special meeting in January. And then we're going at that point. We're moving forward. And at that point, the idea would be, timing-wise rather, I'm sorry, we would be able to open these prior to football season, okay? The projected preliminary budget at this time is just under $695,000. That's not what you're approving tonight. What you're approving is a contract to move toward the building of itself. And, we can dig into it and start, trying to parse away at it. We will. But I think this is fairly bare bones as far as, I think they've sharpened the pencil on getting us a price that's feasible. So really, it boils down to time to say, yes, we want to do this, or no, we don't. And if the board chooses to move down this path, we're rolling. We'll have this fixed and ready to go by school year, football season next year. Like I said, it has been continually the board's number one priority within capital outlay. I also know, as I talk with people, it comes up in a variety of conversations. As you well know, I do the soup of the soup conversation or meetings once a month. It comes up not every month, multiple times a year. And then individuals came up last month. Person has an opportunity to say anything he or she wants. Say what's the best thing we can do to help provide for the mission of our district and to help provide for our kids. And fixing the concession stand restroom comes up. So it's obviously important to people. So with that, I stand for questions, and there you go. Then I'll give a recommendation after questions. Unless you just want me to go to recommendations, Matt.
So when they,
Could you speak into the, please?
when Gibson Mancini puts this out for bids, do they put this price tag on it, or is it just?
No, they'll
Okay.
keep it.
I wasn't quite sure how that
Yeah,
works.
they'll keep it blind.
Okay.
And, we've got our people, and the hopes, of course, if you recall, we had that preliminary bid from another company. It came in at 1.2. Just egregious as far as I'm concerned. And so my hope is, and Curtis has said, isn't there some local talent around here? Well, this would tap into more local talent, I would think. And we've got our people we do things with, but still they'd have to go through the bidding process. We're not just going to hand it to somebody because we like them.
Sure.
Can we not use local contractor?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, not just,
Yeah, that's the kind of thing.
I hate to say that, but that's a big-ass house.
Yep.
And that's not a big-ass house project. Excuse my French.
No, that's all right.
Sorry about that, people.
I don't think, I don't want to put words in anybody else's mouth, but I'll put words in my own mouth. I'm not thrilled about spending $700,000 on this facility, but I do know this is what I do know. It's not going to get cheaper next year or the following year. And so having worked with multiple companies, this is the best price I've seen. And like I said, we can sharpen the pencil, Sean, as we move down the pike and say, well, let's not use that quality of tile or whatever. To hone it in.
Should be all concrete anyway. No tile anywhere. Am I wrong?
I don't know. I can't speak to that. The industry standard is some tile, so, but let's say we say, okay, let's do away with tile. Well, tile is on here, where is it?
24,000.
Yeah, thank you. So we chip away. And so let's say we get the total of 38,000 back, what's contingency, let's say. So that's 38, 58, 60, $2,000 off the price. I mean, we could start, ifs and buts, But my experience with construction has been, you can hope for that to come back. It's usually 10% overage on time and money, not the other way. But I could be wrong.
I mean, I agree. It's a big price tag, and it kind of baffles me. But you start looking at the detailed prices of everything and, you know, nothing really seems crazy out of bounds.
The cost per square foot's a lot cheaper than what you're gonna see most anywhere else. I mean,
Cost for.
cost per square foot's a lot less than what we've had for any other project we've done at the college that I'm familiar with. I mean, it's been over 400.
Yep.
I mean, it's been mostly over 400 there on projects that we've done.
Square foot, per square foot.
And that's what this comes out to, about 388 at the 1,700 square
34,
feet.
but you come back in there and I mean, don't get me wrong, we're looking at a brand new home, and I think he was at 220 on a brand new home, when it's upstairs, downstairs, so I was just,
Right.
holy crap.
Yeah.
That's just, now building's a little bit different than housing, but that's just kind of throwing me for a loop, 378. And I mean, it's concrete and brick and
Metal.
metal, that's, not
Yeah.
walnut flooring or anything else, or carpet or
You
tile or.
You want walnut floor?
No, I'm not good.
If you want to change the bid here to include walnut flooring, I'm joking.
We'll call it the Sean Sheets flooring.
Yeah.
I think it's just so crazy is because you look at that price and then you think back what we spent for the barn, you know, and that's just, yeah, I mean, what, 2-3 years ago? And
The only
just
thing I can say to
baffling.
it is more plumbing, more electrical.
Yeah, I've been trying to talk myself into this thing all day long, and I kept coming back to the plumbing because plumbing is very expensive.
That's where I'm at with Orion.
Yeah.
And I mean, if the board says, yes, let's do this tonight, I'm not just calling Nick up and say, let's go, it's done. I mean, we're pretty good at saying, can we get some of this off on this? And I mean, the work will continue in earnest to bring it in as best we possibly can. Just it doesn't, I don't know how it alleviates your thoughts or not. The money's there, the budget authority's there, we're good to go. I mean, it's set up. You know,
You're saying that Nick and Desiree are saying they're concerned about
Getting
how
people-
many are going to bid?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They're fearful just because we have fewer,
Yeah.
people are busy,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
But taking into account any and all of the issues or concerns that you guys have brought forth, and they're all real, I don't disagree with you. But given what my role is to provide you with options, and after you set your sights, we roll. We've come back multiple times. My recommendation is the board approve of the proposed contract with GMCN.
I'll make the motion to approve this.
You say it into the mic, please.
Matt, I move that we move forward with it.
Okay, Curtis
That's second.
and Ryan Ruda. Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the contract with GMCN. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, passes. All right, on to Skyward Transition.
All right, we may not get walnut flooring in the concession stand, but we're going to get it with the Skyward transition. Mike, if you'd step forward, please. If you'll recall, this came our way. It's not our choice whatsoever, but the MAP program has been around. It's just a good old-fashioned dishwasher. It works. But it's been around for I don't know how many years. I had it when I was in Elkhart 20 years ago. And they are just continuing it. Their answer is, you can keep doing it, but we're going to unplug it. And so we learned of this about April last year.
Somewhere's in there,
March,
yeah.
April, yeah. So we went out, we started looking at options. And if you'll recall, I came to you guys in the end with the recommendation that we move to Skyward to take on the business side of the infrastructure of the district. Later, we'll deal with this student information system, because right now we're at the Power School. I want to merge the two. So with this, I mean, this is a huge data changeover. Mike serves as the tip of the spear with Julie in support, and just all the minutia of getting things set up to where we ultimately come April, we'll unplug MAP, plug in Skyward, and move forward. Thus far, how often do you guys meet with the group, Mike?
A couple times a week.
Okay, so, and what they've been working at thus far is, most recent work is payroll reports, and it includes, the people and their deductions and whatnot, vendors lists and short account numbers. You think, well, okay, that's simple. Ooh, no, Monfray. It is lots of minutia detail work. Mike's the right guy to be involved in this. I would not be the right guy to be involved in this, to pay the people. So they're going through it very didactically, moving forward. Future stuff coming down the pike, and this isn't everything, but, the timekeeping system, the leave system, just everything we do on the business side will be over on Skyward. If everything goes as we want it to go, like I said, come April, we will be ready to launch, and we'll hold our tongue just right and unplug map and plug in Skyward and go. If it doesn't work, we'll plug map back in, unplug Skyward, and be ready to go backwards. But the idea being by July 1, we're done with this changeover. So, anything else, Mike, you want to add?
Currently, we've had one upload to their system, and then I've spent a day and a half with the one guy comparing our data to theirs, so that when it uploads, they'll know that like this line needs Social Security deducted from it, and this one needs FICA deducted from it, federal withholding, that kind of stuff. But so it is tedious, but they keep saying that, well, don't expect it to be perfect once it's all in there and stuff. So it kind of scares me when they're saying that. But
No, that we want it to be perfect.
exactly.
It's like the year 2000 all over again.
Yeah, really.
But in January, everything's supposed to be in the system, so we can I can get into the system with our data and verify that it actually downloaded correctly and things are good. And they assure me that, we can always make changes and do new uploads if we find, major problems. So we should have several months to play with it before we go live.
Because perfection is key, is it not?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
On this. We want people to get the right payroll.
Yeah.
And be able to access leave and, yeah.
Make sure that,
Oh, wait, you haven't been paying into Social Security for the last.
Yeah, oops. They don't just say, oh, don't worry about that. Thank you, Mike.
thanks, Mike. All right, we will move to grade level capacity work update.
Okay, like I said, this is I think really the more piece of that non-resident student policy that's going into play that I think people really care more about, frankly. We're used to having kids from out of district come to us. So the question is, how many kids per section? By May 1, the board of all districts have to set the capacities per level. I brought this to you, was it a month ago? I presented to you our first thoughts. Board had a conversation, so we went back and worked it again. We're not finished, and we've got time. I've asked the principals to continue to engage with whatever groups they can, teachers, parents, I don't know about kids, but find out, well, what do you think is the right number? The research-wise, elementary optimal numbers are 18 to 22, secondary is 20 to 25. But that doesn't mean anything to us, really. That's just what research says. Here's the thing for us to work through. We don't want to set the capacity so high that it negatively impacts the educational environment. If you have 50 to 1 is silly. You can't do that in a second grade classroom. So the higher the number, the perception of packing the classes, right? And so too many students would lower the educational learning environment. So you say, well, don't do that. Hone in on what we really can do. Okay, if we set the capacities, and currently, what we're looking at is across the board. At Wiley, it's 10 to 1 for preschool, kindergarten, or then K1, 2, 18 to 1. HES 20 to 1, middle school, high school, 24 to 1. If we come forward and we set those up, and we come in we're under the capacity on every last one of these things. Not an issue. We're under the capacity. But then come October, and the law is silent on this, so once again, we'll see what occurs. We have a family move into town, and 3 families move into town. All the kids happen to be in second grade. And so in second grade, our capacity we set was 18 to 1, and we're sitting at 17 to 1. 3 new kids move in. We've just popped the top. That triggers that we have to open a new section. So if we run it too tight, and we cannot account for who moves to town, or DCF placement or something like that, it puts us over that limit, then we may have to open new sections during the year. Okay? Literally, we could have class in this room. You know, we could go rent double wides. We could find space. I don't think that's really the issue. Nothing says you can't have elementary kids in a class in high school. We could do that. The issue is people, finding the people. So the facility's not an issue, personnel, big issue, given all the challenges we're facing with the teacher shortage. So once again, it comes back to, well, just set a high number, Scott. Just set a high number, and we don't have to worry about that. Okay? But then the minute we put out, we're going to 35 to 1 in kindergarten, I could understand people saying, wait a second, hold on. You're going to 35 to, no, we have no intention to go to 35 to 1. But if there's no barrier set up, we could. All right? Now, here's one good thing. Every year by May 1, the board has to set the new capacity. Every year. So this is not just a one-shot pony. So let's say the board chooses to take the path of the lower the number, the better. All right? And this my nightmare scenario, because I really think that's a nightmare scenario. They move to town because if a person is living in district, they get to come to school. And we don't get to send the ones away because July 15th has come and gone. And remember, that's a hard deadline. So the nightmare scenario is mid-year, we're supposed to open up a new section of whatever grade. Nope, I have no idea what happens if you don't. I guess you have to get it rezoned if you ask too many questions, right, Garrett? But the law says this. So that, to me, is the nightmare scenario. The way to avoid that is set a high number. Just set a high number. And hopefully communicate it well enough to everybody to say, we have no intention, none whatsoever, of going to 33 to 1 in 6th grade.
So are the capacities that you have listed here, what's in the statute, in the law?
No. We have control.
Don't put a threshold on capacity?
Nope. It's set on, the criteria that go into play are projected enrollment, and all we can do on that is, well, what did we have last year? What do we project it forward if everybody stays, you know? Classroom capacity, meaning physical space, fire marshal stuff. Current student-to-teacher ratio, and then special programs at the high school. Those are it. And no, great question. They don't, and here's an idea for you. They don't give you that number, you know, as far as the law doesn't. And so the policy's silent about it as well. Well, the policy doesn't even talk about what the numbers are.
Right.
Yeah, and so this is just work. We're going to grapple with it, continue to grapple with it, hopefully get some more direction, I guess, from the powers that be, KESB, KSTE. Maybe, honestly and truthfully, if we slow play this, Matt, just hit me. They could come in and course correct this in session. You know, they're already going to come in and course correct the selling of buildings. They had no intention of having to, they have the right of first refusal of a hut that we store hurdles in. But currently, if we go to sell the hut where we store hurdles in, we have to send it to the Senate and give them an opportunity to buy it. There's no intention of doing that. That was not part of what they wanted with the law. So they supposedly are going to fix that. So maybe as these issues start to come out, they might do something early in session. And so might be a good reason just to keep working it, keep talking to every group, and maybe they'll fix it for us. You know, as far as the issue of, because the issue is a person moves to town after July 15. That's the issue, if you boil it down. Say, Scott, why are you hyper about this? Because at that point, it triggers something. And maybe they'll have a proviso say, but if that occurs, don't worry about it. You know, I don't get to raise my hand and vote in Topeka, much is the pity.
So can you put is there latitude to put a max capacity as well as a expected, or?
All we have the power to do is set the max capacity.
Right.
All we have is the power to set the max capacity. You can take into account these 4 factors and then set a number.
So but even at the local level, we can't come in there and say, we can set the max at 35. Our expectation is 20.
We can say those words, but the max is 35. As soon as we set a number.
But we can provide the direction there to say, we have no intention of ever going to 35.
Set your
We're not
maximum at a
Johnson
certain
County.
level and then make it a district policy that we don't go over this level or something like that.
I don't think home rule will work on this one. I don't think so, because that's what we're discussing here. Because it's hard-boiled capacity limit. We can have every pinky swear in the world that says we won't do it and mean it and not do it, but somebody out there could say, oh, come on. Trust me, this shows up in negotiations. This will, statewide, this will show up. And in our current negotiated agreement, and that's not a reason to or not to do this, but in our current negotiated agreement, and Matt can speak to this better than I can, but back in the day, there's a proviso in there that says something to the effect of, the board acknowledges it's important to keep decent, I don't know if the word decent's used, appropriate teacher-to-student ratio. But then it goes on. But this is not to imply that the board is setting a capacity per room. So, I mean, it came up at some point in time in our district about, we have too many kids in our class.
Yeah, pretty limiting the local control too.
Yeah,
It's nice.
yeah, exactly. This is once again for a red state. I don't like unfunded mandates.
Yeah.
So if a family was gonna move into Holcomb, they would go and see, oh my, Holcomb's allowing 50 students per capacity. Where would they go and see this?
What date would they move in? Oh, I mean, where would they go to see it?
Yeah, where would they go?
We
find
have to
this out?
publish it on our website before May 1.
So that's, okay.
Yeah, so that, now whether the person moving to town sees that, I mean, that's,
We could have Sean.
Parentheses
as the
underneath
realtor.
that.
Sorry, you can't move in. I can't sell
But
you
you
this
know that
house.
you can go online and see where our school's graded at.
yeah, sure. There's all sorts of data.
Yeah, all
yeah,
sorts of data on
all sorts of information. So
per class, weather, everything.
So that, Ryan, that's where it is. I mean, it has to be published on our website. And we will. I mean, we'll get it published. Just like with this
I
policy.
say we set the limit where we think the limit should be, and if we end up going over because somebody moves into town, when they move into town, we figure out what to do then.
That's what we'd have to do. And what I don't know is how sharp are the teeth in the dog. You know,
Probably not very sharp at all.
they're not gonna come out and take our activity bus, I don't
Probably
think.
just fire our superintendent.
Probably.
Board president?
Yeah, I mean, I can't think that we are job target number one for the.
GM gone.
But I will guarantee you this, there's a thing called, and it's an evil thing called legislative post-audit. And this is ripe for an opportunity for legislative post-audit. It's a proctology exam of whatever they want to look at. And this will be one of those things that occurs. It just will be.
Like when we got fined because our Salisbury steak was 1 ounce too much or something.
I have
years
no
ago.
doubts. When I was in Elkhart, it was one of the, drives me nuts. We got written up because we did not have enough trash after lunch. The implication was people were taking the food out the back door. That's not what was happening. The kids ate the food. But they knew with X number of kids, you should have, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
X number of kids, you should have X amount of pounds of trash to take to your walnut floors at the concession stand. The Sean Sheets walnut floors, but it's just, I don't know. We're going to continue to work it. All the soups in the world, in the state are just not frantic by any means, but, well, for some districts, and I'm not putting anybody down, but Stanton County, no one's going to go from Ulysses to Stanton County or vice versa. It's too far of a drive. They're just not going to. There are individual pockets. My former district, Jeff West, this could be a big deal to them. I mean, because they touch the Seaman district. Here, we're 6 miles from the Big Brown Beast. I mean, we already have 20% of our kids coming. Maybe we get more. I don't know. 2 schools of thought. People are from here. You know better than I do. If they're going to come, they're already here. Versus, oh, they're coming now. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you after the fact.
There's kids that live here that go to school in Garden too.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
That's right. I think we are by far, we gain more than we lose, but yes, we do. And the ones who I know of who go that way, it's because of opportunities to be on the dance squad or something like that. Or they are upset with us. Oh, okay, whatever. They'll have an opportunity to do so in the future. So it's being worked. I guess that's all I really wanted to talk to you about tonight. Not set you a new number or anything, but this is not the last you're going to hear of it from me.
Okay. All right. We will move to new business and non-resident student policy, first read.
Yeah, and we can take as much time as this as you want to. I don't recommend it because we've really talked about it ad nauseum already. The pieces that are really important is in the final page of it, where it talks about the reasons why people could be denied. So the policy we're bringing forward to you is 14 or more absences. That's almost 10% of the year, by the way. False or fraudulent information provided. They're not a resident of Kansas, not an issue to us, but anyway. Currently suspended or expelled from another district. Have had 1 or more out-of-school suspensions or 2 or more in-school suspensions. They're currently in a long-term suspension. If this all gets approved, it goes into play January 1 of 2024, then by June 1, we have to let them know, that, sorry, you can't play because of these reasons. Or silence is the answer for them. So anyway, this is the first reading of the policy. I recommend you accept the first reading.
Matt, I'll make that motion that we accept the first reading.
Okay,
Second.
Jill and Curtis. It's been moved and seconded to approve the first reading of the proposed policy. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. USD 363 GCCC Endowment
I
Scholarship.
really do, even if I wish you weren't here, but we have a really good relationship with the Garden City Community College. And I'd like Dr. Riddle to leave the room. No, I'll tell them what I really think. No, we have a lot of really good things going on. And idea came forward is, well, what if we created some sort of endowment fund that allowed people, graduates from Holcomb USD 363, to, if they go straight to Garden City Community College, upon graduation, then they could get an endowment scholarship. I said, well, that's interesting. Let's take a look at that. Found out last week, late last week, we had our American Fidelity Plan 125 people said, sure, you can bake that into it. Then they came back and said, no, you can't. So we cannot use it for 125 plans. Regardless, it doesn't stop us from doing this program. It just can't be pre-tax. That's all. And so what I'm bringing forward to you is the creation of the endowment scholarship, and then all the details we'll fill in later on. What we're headed toward is one-time award per kid from the interest income of the fund once it hits $10,000. So it just generates continually. It just keeps going. Now that means the amount of money will fluctuate, on a given year based on how the fund went. We'd have to work out the application process. All this stuff. I'm recommending that the district would donate $2,000 toward it per year. So if no one else donated a penny, it would take 5 years for this to fly. But we will provide an opportunity for our employees to donate up to $100 a year. I guess if they wanted to donate more, great, but we will only match $100 per year. But the first step is for the board to say, let's create it, and then as we move down the path with more details, I'll bring them past you. So I recommend that the board approve the creation of the endowment scholarship.
Would it be something, this is in the details, in the weeds, but would it be something they could do like per paycheck, Mike? Like
Oh, yeah.
$3 a paycheck or something?
Absolutely, yeah. And we've had people do United Way that way. We've had people do the Western Kansas Foundation thingy. People make their own decisions how they like to give. Right. I 100% refuse when I go to a place and they say, would you like to round up to 75 cents? I said, no, I do not. I do my own, giving my own way. I didn't get into an argument with the lady at the movie theater last week, but my wife felt she needed to provide information. Oh, we'd like to do this. We do this. I just walked away. So I choose not to give in that manner. So I don't know, Ryan. We'll see.
I recommend the board approve the creation of the endowment scholarship funded through the USD 363.
Second it.
Schravogel and Jill. So it's been moved and seconded to approve the creation of the 363 G3 Endowment Scholarship funded through district and employee contributions. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, donation.
We just have a donation from Strawbridge Photography for $263.30 to be used in providing for our students. I do recommend that you accept the donation made to the district.
So moved.
Second.
Ryan Ruda and Ryan Schravogel. Moved and seconded to accept the donation made to the district from Strawbridge Photography. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, executive session.
15 minutes, Mr. Jones.
15 minutes?
That's in my mind's eye.
Okay, so how about we go into executive session for 15 minutes at 7:15 to include Dr. Myers?
You're going to wait that long?
Okay, gee, 7:12, no, 7:10, how
Okay,
about that?
thank you.
We'll go in at 7:10 for 15 minutes, including Dr. Myers, and that's it,
For now, yeah.
for now, okay.
I'll make that motion.
Second, sorry.
So we have Ryan Schravogel and Curtis. Been moved and seconded to go into executive session for 15 minutes at 7:10 with Dr. Myers. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Garrett. Honestly, you know what I'm saying? Me to say to him, well, I'd like to suggest one more thing for the agenda. Put that on the mic. Let's do it, right? Come on.
City council got a raise.
What the hell are we doing?
All right, we're back in session. I need a motion to hire the supplementals as presented.
So moved.
Jill and Curtis. It's been moved and seconded to approve the supplementals as presented. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed?
That is all.
I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Yep.
Jill and Ryan Ruda. It's been moved and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Good evening.